episode 3277, In the Name of Love.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're having some extra time off because you know what? Have you looked outside? It is snowing. Yes, we're down here in the South, and let me tell you, snow on the ground, it shuts everything down, but it is absolutely beautiful and white as anything. So today we're going to enjoy our time honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the name of love. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, inspiring connection and community. Well, you know, it's an incredible day. It's been an incredible weekend. Have you watched the NFL playoffs, man? We've got a couple games today. Yes, are you marking your calendars and your time? The Bills and, was it the Steelers, I think? They were delayed a whole day. And so, yes, you know you can always come here, and I'm going to give you the scoop on just about everything. But the snow is falling, and I'm not the weather person to talk about snow, but being in the South, I do kind of wonder, gosh, as long as it's snow and not ice, I'm fine with that because I can save my trees, and I'm all about saving my bushes and my trees. But if we get the ice, yeah, not so much. So we're enjoying kind of a more relaxing day, and I hope you get that moment too. I hope you get to look at the snow in a different light. Look at it through the eyes of a child. What do you see? What sparkles for you? You know, sometimes we've got to take those moments and look in the mirror. What do you see? Do you see flaws and imperfections? Or a person worthy of love and compassion? What more in the name of love do you need to see? You know, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man we honor today, advocated for racial equality and justice in the civil rights movement. But his approach was so different in that it was deeply rooted in Christian principles and the teachings of Jesus Christ, right? He was a minister. And whether you're a believer or not, this man changed the world. He truly was a living legacy. He lived out who he became after he was gone. And he taught us the importance of loving our neighbors as ourselves. But what if you can't truly love others if you don't first love yourself? Let me go back to the original question. So what do you see? Do you see wrinkles, an aging person, one who has failed more than succeeded? Do you see more of what you should have done versus what you can do? Do you see a failed mom because her children didn't turn out a certain way? Do you see a dad who didn't get that promotion times 2? But here's the truth. Your reflection says a lot about how you judge yourself and how you judge others. Think about that for just a minute. Prejudice doesn't come from knowledge, but from assumptions. Most of the time, those assumptions are wrong because we only see the surface level markings, the scars, the wounds. We just see what's on the outside and not the compassion in one's heart. Dr. King believed that each of us was created in the image of God as stated in the Bible, and that we should love and treat each other equally with respect and dignity regardless of race or background. Equality. His teachings remind us that love knows no bounds, and it begins with who you see in the mirror. In his famous speech, I Have a Dream, which he delivered on that historic march in Washington, D.C. in 1963, Dr. King spoke of his dream for a future where people are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Who do you see? What do you see? You see, this vision is reflected in Galatians 3, verse 28. There's neither Jew nor Gentile, neither slave nor free, nor is there male or female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. My friend, it's time that we build bridges. And it starts with you and me. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Build bridges. So much of this world is about, I got to be on my own mountain. Get off of mine. This is mine. I'm going to secure it. I want my own island. I want my own mountain. I want to be my own. But you know what? God did not create us to be individualistic and live alone. He created us to be relational. In fact, he invites us to be relational with him, but we're not going to go down that avenue right now. But I do think it's important to look at what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, the living legacy that he is today. And so I challenge you to look at your reflection. Go deeper than the quick reaction of, I got all the friends. I don't have to worry about it. I've got my black friends, my Asian friends. I got my Jewish friends. I got these friends. I got my white friends. I'm okay. I've got all my friends. But how much does your heart really see the person in front of you? How much do you see yourself? To honor Dr. King's legacy of love, let's start by looking inward. Let's go beyond the reflections of what we lack and truly appreciate the reflection of our gifts. Most of the time, what we don't see because we don't take the time. We're too busy. We're still stuck in our own, discombobbled. I got to get on digital media and I got to see what's all there in the tech world. Really? No, you don't. No, you don't. I want you first to start looking in the mirror. And that comes with number 1, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you offer to others. Instead of focusing on your perceived failures, acknowledge your past accomplishments. Notice how far you've come. Yeah, you may have a long way to go. And that doesn't mean you gloat about it. That doesn't mean you become this egotistical, puffed up person. I'm not saying that at all. But you've got to appreciate your story. My strength is my story. Acknowledge your past accomplishments. See what you're doing right now and the strengths that you possess. Embrace your unique qualities because there's only one of you. Praise the Lord. I know my children are very grateful there's only one of me. And I'm sure if there was ever a possibility of cloning people, they'd be like, do not clone my mother. I do not want more of her. But we'll leave that for another episode. But seriously, embrace your unique qualities, your gifts, your talents. Appreciate the person you are today and the person you are becoming. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he didn't just stop and say, oh, yep, here I am. I have arrived. That man never arrived until God called him home and welcomed him into the kingdom of heaven. But on this earth, he was willing to fight, no violence, but with love, with respect, with dignity. He treated everyone the same. It didn't matter how much money you had or how much money you didn't have. He saw who you were. You were created in the image of God. And sometimes we just discount everything. The next time you see a commercial, and I'm going to say that because there's so many other things, and I don't want us to go down a rabbit hole of judging and all of this. So when you see a commercial, I just want you to look at the faces in that commercial. I don't want you to watch it for its content. I don't want you to say, oh gosh, I would be interested in that. No, none of that. I just want you to watch the faces. And I want you to think about what you're thinking about when you see those faces. Are you one who is judging them immediately as you judge yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror every morning? Because you do it. I know you do. We all do it. I do it. But what if we could practice, first off, self-compassion, so then we could give others more compassion and the compassion that they really deserve. We need to welcome compassion into our everyday and stop trying to make our own way by knocking people off the top of our own mountain that we created ourselves. Really? No, you didn't get to where you are by yourself. You had a lot of people along the way. Practice self-compassion. When you build bridges, number 2, connect with others authentically. Do we even know what authenticity is nowadays? I mean, seriously, do you even know what it is, or do you have to look up that word? Maybe it's too big of a word. I'm not saying for you, I'm just saying in generality here. Because when we look at authenticity, it's hard to say that everybody's authentic when you go on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, or you hit the Reels, or you hit TikTok, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, there's like 20,000 features or filters available. There's features too, but filters. And yeah, does that person really look like that? Oh, and then let's calculate in AI. We don't know what's real and what's not, do we? What if we were truly to connect with others authentically? Really the desire to see people for who they are. Because all of us want to be seen and heard. I don't care what age you are. Whether you're in the womb or whether you're 102, you want to be seen and heard. So take the time to truly listen and understand the people around you. Instead of making assumptions based on appearances, go back to that commercial. What were some of your thoughts? What were some of your first impressions when you just saw their faces? If you have to mute it, you can do that now, right? You get that mute button. Strive to see beyond the surface level. Show empathy and look for the compassion in others' hearts, just as Dr. King did. Build bridges. We've got to stop tearing each other apart. And we can't sit there and say, well, I'm going to wait because I'm doing it fine. I got to wait till they do it. They've got to come to this side. No. It starts with you. It starts with me. Build bridges. And finally, number 3, challenge your biases. We all have unconscious biases that influence our perceptions of ourselves and even of others. So take a moment to reflect on your own biases. That the thing that comes up of saying, oh gosh, am I really that selfish? Am I really that opinionated on fill in the blank, whatever it is? Right? You got the Iowa caucuses happening. I'm not going to get all political, but you know what? Politics is part of life. Politics are part of life because it's part of our government here in the United States of America, and our government has an effect on our personal lives. So yes, it's a part of it. The Iowa caucuses, it kicks off, and guess what? I've actually been able to be a part of those. I lived in Iowa for many years. It's very interesting how they go about it, but I mentioned that because a lot of people will be like, oh, well, these Iowans, who do they think they are? Well, why don't you go and learn about them? Why don't you see? If you really want to know what's right for the country, why don't you actually go and research the individual candidates on your own? Don't turn on the news. In fact, turn it off and go find out. Hear for yourself. Make your own decision. Don't let people who just kind of puff themselves up attempt to puff you up and go, oh, I'm going to follow them. Challenge your biases. Don't you want to live in an incredible country? Are you looking at it with your right eye? Not just the left eye. Meaning that it's your bias. I'm not saying right or left in politics here. Nope. Not saying that at all. That's for another episode. But a lot of times we think we have to be right. And so we're only going to look with the right eye because we want to be right. We want to puff ourselves up. But who cares about looking over here at the left? Because, I don't want to go down that road because that means I have to think more. I have to work harder. Really? Educate yourself about different cultures. Educate yourself about the backgrounds of the people that you work with, your neighbors. Now, I'm not saying go hire a PI or something like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying get to know people. Stop sitting there and making assumptions that, oh, well, back in the day, these people were like this. Really? What if back in this day, right now, people are like, and fill in the blank? What if they are loving and kind and respectful and they're your neighbor? Educate yourself. Gain a broader understanding of humanity's diversity. Remember, judgment based on assumptions often leads to misunderstandings and missed opportunities for connection. We've all been there. Go back to high school. Just go back to high school. Yeah, that's the easiest way to think about it. It neutralizes everything for all of us. We were all there. And if you're listening and you're just now in high school, just save this episode and come back a couple years later after you've matured a little bit and you're like, oh yeah, I get it, Christiane, now. Judgment based on assumption often leads to misunderstandings, and you wonder why we have a hard time connecting Because if we have all these misunderstandings because of our assumptions, they're missed opportunities for connection. And so it doesn't happen. Dr. King's teachings on love and equality continue to guide us today. That's if people actually learn about him. I pray they do. As we look within ourselves and challenge our biases, we can create a world where reflection is no longer clouded by judgment, but illuminated by love and respect. You don't want to live in a world of assumptions. That will get you into trouble. One of the things Dr. King said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Are you willing to build bridges and go beyond the failures of humanity? That's a tough question. In fact, I even asked my daughter, I said, I wonder if Dr. King was alive today, how would this world be different? And her response to me was, Mom, I think it would be much better than where it is today. He was a man who believed in doing things in a respectful, loving manner. He didn't always agree with the people that he met with, but he treated them with respect and dignity. He walked his talk. Are you doing that today? Are you telling and treating your kids one way and trying to raise them up one way, but then out of the other side of your mouth, you're doing something else totally different? Artist Bono once said, I've always believed love to be the highest frequency. That's all Dr. King ever talked about. Love. In 1984, Bono and his band U2 released the song Pride in the Name of Love to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. The song became a powerful anthem for equality and justice, reminding us of the ongoing fight for love and compassion in the world. In the name of love. What more in the name of love? So today, as you reflect on Dr. King's teachings of love, equality, respect, and peace, you look at that snow outside. What if that snow, that white, could just cover all of our disagreements and give us a clean slate? What if we would all walk outside of our homes with the idea that we may disagree? It's okay to disagree, but let's come together on a few key aspects. Let's treat each other with respect. Let's raise our children up to know and understand that they're not the only ones in this world. Our generation's coming up, if we don't watch it, they're going to think they're the only ones on the mountaintop. And pretty soon they'll be the only one on the mountaintop because they will be alone. And how sad is that? So as you reflect, look in the mirror and challenge yourself to embrace unconditional love for yourself so that you may truly love your neighbors as yourself. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, the time is always right to do what is right. Are you ready to do what is right? Are you ready to rise up in a manner of love and peace and grace and respect? What more in the name of love? Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.